How's it going, Goof Troop? Shartvark here. After my Ash vs. Yugi death battle prediction, I figured I'd like to do another death battle video, and I figured for everybody who's joining me, or for everybody who's subbed to me recently, I'm going to do a tier list for every death battle ever, so you guys get to know what kind of things I like, or the kind of episodes I've liked when it comes to death battle. And this is, quite literally, every episode of death battle ever, excluding Ash vs. Yugi, because that hasn't been updated yet. That has not shown up yet. So, just for default sake, just know I would put Ash vs. Yugi in peak. I think Ash vs. Yugi, it's been a match I've wanted for 4+ years. It's something I've wanted for so long. And then they finally did it, and it was everything I could ever hope for. There's a few small things that I feel like I would have appreciated in the fight more, like more banter between Ash and Yugi, but apart from that, it is a genuine 10 out of 10 episode for me. So, full brevity, just imagine Ash vs. Yugi is in peak. I made a tier just for bottom tier garbage, just the worst of the worst episodes, and you'll see some there. I do think I have some that I just don't like. So let's get into this. Boba Fett vs. Samus. For the first one they've ever done, honestly, I think I'm going to make another tier. I'm already at the point where, alright, let's just add another tier. I'm going to add a row below. And I know exactly what I want to call this. I'm going to call this tier Growing Pains. Obviously, there are going to be episodes that just aren't that great. And it's probably because they didn't really know what they were doing for the characters. So, I think it's not bad. You know what? I'm going to move this up a little bit. I'm going to move Growing Pains. I don't know. Wait, hold on. Oh, I've made a right mess of this. Hold on. Yeah, I'm just going to keep it where it is. I'm going to keep it where it is. Boba Fett vs. Samus in Growing Pains. I think that just makes sense. They're really just starting to feel themselves. Akuma vs. Shang Tsung. Ooh. Okay, this is tough. It's not that it's a bad episode. In fact, I think a lot of the like very beginner death battle episodes, while the math isn't like their research and math, it's just way off base because they're just starting. They don't really know. They're not putting like leagues of research into things that they used to do. So I don't know. I feel like for the episode on its own, personally, I would put it in D. Not because it's a bad episode. I just don't, like, when it comes to the fight itself, it is what it is. But the episode itself, the fight, felt so much like a Dragon Ball Z fight. Like, it was, to me, it was just Dragon Ball noises. And I guess that's also just a part of Growing Pains. But I don't know, I feel like there's a lack of effort in that. Now we have Rogue vs. Wonder Woman. Oh my god, dude. I'm probably going to make so many people mad. I'm just going to put so many of these in D just because they're early episodes. I mean, they can't all grow and grow. They can't all go into Growing Pains just because they're, like, starters. So, ooh, that's going to be tough. That's going to be real tough. I don't remember too much of, like, there's ones I remember really well, like the Ninja Turtle Battle Royale and Yoshi vs. Ripper and Goomba Koopa. I loved those. I remember Hager Zangief. It was good. I do like not necessarily the quality of the fight on that, but I do like how it goes, whereas this, I feel like this is probably another D as well. Not because it's bad. I don't think it's god awful. It's just, I don't know. I feel like you don't get much that happens in it. Goomba vs. Koopa, on the other hand, ooh, it's gonna be good. Goomba vs. Koopas is a joke match. It's not really a joke match. It was a genuine analysis on which of them is better. But because for like their like third or fourth episode ever, fourth actually. Hold on. Honestly, I think just because of what they were trying to do, it goes straight to B. Like, it's not bad. It's not beyond incredible, but for one of those early season matches, they did something neat with that, and I like that. Hager vs. Zangief, I'm also going to put in B, just because I really like how the fight flowed. I just thought it was a good fight. I'm not really, like, Street Fighter as a series is not something I'm super into. So it's hard for me to see. Like, it's hard for me to see me putting this as far as B. But I liked it. The same for Ninja. Actually, I think Ninja Turtles for me probably goes to A. It was genuinely a difficult match to get through because I think everybody knew Leonardo was going to win. But I don't know. I guess in terms of like analysis, I think we all knew the order it was going to go in. It was obviously going to go Mikey, Donatello, Raph, Leo. But I don't know. I just like it. I like the Ninja Turtles. I'm glad that they brought them back. I'm glad that Leo came back for more episodes. Now, Zitz vs. Leonardo, despite what I just said about Ninja Turtles, I don't really like that they... I guess the idea was supposed to be like a continuation of like what happened after the Turtles fight. So doing two back-to-back I really just didn't like. So I'm going to put that in D as well. Yoshi Riptor, A. Easy A. I only say that because Yoshi is such a weird character for like, I would like to see Yoshi come back to Death Battle. I don't know who he'd fight, because I don't think characters like Kirby and Pac-Man, I think Kirby would absolutely stomp Yoshi, there's no question. Kirby is a cosmic horror of a character. Like, you genuinely, you don't mess with Kirby, and Majin Buu proved that. Riptor, on the other hand, I do like Killer Instinct. I really do like Killer Instinct. It's one of the games I like playing, dipping my foot into, or like getting into fighting games. Killer Instinct was one of the first ones that I got into. And it may have been because of this death battle. So yeah, I think Yoshi Riptor goes straight to A. Felicia Taukaka. I think it's been quite a while since we got BlazBlue in Death Battle. Is it BlazBlue or BlazBlue? I don't remember. I don't remember. But either way, I know that lore goes absolutely insane, and I actually don't remember who wins. So I'll be right back on that, actually. Okay, I'm back, and yeah, that's who I figured would win. If you haven't seen it, if you're watching this video and you actually just have not seen any of these death battles, I'm not going to spoil them. Well, actually, I kind of did the Turtles one. But, for what it's worth, I think this is it's a decent C. Like, it's not terrible. It was a fun fight. It kind of stayed in one place, which I don't really like. I don't like the matches that stay in one place for the whole thing. Like, I'm not phrasing this properly, because Ash vs. Yui takes place in one place the whole time. It is just one stadium. But matches like Felicia Taukaka, they stay on basically the pier, like, the whole time. Like, it's just that one singular background, whereas in newer death battles, there's new scenery, characters are moving. I do like that. Kratos Spawn. I'm gonna be honest, the connections are weak. I don't like... I mean, I'm not a huge Spawn or God of War fan, but frankly, I don't think they knew what they were trying to do when they started this episode in the first place. Maybe they just wanted something grittier than basically anything we've gotten thus far. I think this is actually bottom tier garbage. I'll say it. I don't think it was great. Bomberman Dig Dug, though, right to A. Bomberman Dig Dug is such a good fight. Like, it's weird that it's a good fight, because it's not like the fight is... Like, it's just creative, I think. Like, I just like what they did with it. And obviously, like, my thoughts are, for, like, rapid fire, this goes here, this goes here, this goes here. I'm not really putting insane effort into, like, explaining, like, every facet of every episode. Because, God, I'd be here for 2.5 hours. And it's like I said before, I don't really remember the first season all that well. Vegeta Shadow. Oh, I remember that. I remember they really did go all out on that. That episode, the animation on that was really. It's not like it was crazy smooth or like super clean or anything like that. But I do remember that it was an episode. It was one that stuck with me for a little while. I like Dragon Ball Z. I love Sonic. I'm only like recently getting back into Sonic as a franchise after the EXE video I played. I don't know this. I don't know when this video is going to go up, but I played a Sonic EXE video for Christmas. So you guys are either going to see this in a couple days before Christmas or like halfway of the way to Christmas. I don't know, depending on when I get this up. But Vegeta Shadow, because it was hype for what it is, I think that goes to A. I'm pretty cool with that. Now the original Mario vs. Sonic. Now, again, without spoiling who wins, I do like the concept of the legacy matches. You know, like Ash vs. Yugi, Mario, Sonic. Those are like high tier. Like people love, like Goku, Superman. Those are huge titles for matchups. But for what we got, obviously because it was so early into Death Battle's run, they obviously could have done better. For what it was, I liked it. I think I would put that in A as well. It's a classic. It's one that you'd like to go back and rewatch. I'm a huge fan of that. Luke Skywalker, Harry Potter. Both of these characters. Okay, this I think has the same issue that God, what was it? Where Kratos Spawn. I think this has the same issue that Kratos Spawn had, where I don't think they really knew what they wanted to do for this match. It's definitely not bottom tier garbage. It's definitely not. It's one of those matches where both of the characters have such high status. Like they both have so much going for them in terms of like their history, right? There's so much. I mean, look at how like I thought like not too long ago they did Kakashi versus Obi-Wan. And I thought Kakashi was going to sweep that. Oh, fuck. Spoiler. Well, okay, look, that's the one... okay, spoiler warning going forward. I'm not going to spoil all of them, but in case I do, just spoiler warning. That's... You get what you get. I apologize. Regardless, Potter versus Skywalker. I think both characters have such wide range for what they can do that I don't think they knew what they were doing. And it's the same issue with Kratos vs. Spawn, but it's not garbage. I think this is also another growing pains. I think if they redid... Well, technically they did redo Samus Boba Fett. But if they redid Skywalker vs. Potter, I think you would get a much different, much more unique matchup. Like I think the style on what they do and what they choose to look at would be vastly different. Maybe the result as well would be different. I don't know. I can't really say for sure. Chun-Li vs. Mai. Don't ask questions. Starscream vs. Rainbow Dash. Now, because it's not a joke match, and I'm not going to do a single tier for joke matches because there are obviously joke matchups, but I'm not going to make it a separate tier for them because the joke matchups can still be bad and they can still be really good. I think the result that we got was obvious on that one. But knowing that going into it, I still like the kind of story writing was tough back then for Death Battle. It was. But for what it's worth, I thought it was fun, and I think I would give this I'd give that a solid B. It was a fun match. It's definitely one I would go back and rewatch if I was just sitting down, minding my own business. I'd be like, you know what, I'll rewatch that. It's fun. Master Chief Doom Guy, and I say Doom Guy specifically because he's not Doom Slayer. It is the same character, but I guess back then, again, they were doing something different. It was still fun. I liked it. I know, like, the result now would clearly be different. So, without spoiling it, I would say because I know something better comes along the line, I would put this in C. Ooh, do I lower it to D though? You know, no, I'll keep it in C. I think that's right. Eggman Wily. I hate to say it, but actual bottom tier garbage. I will reorganize these when I'm done, by the way, so I'll try to clean these up a little bit. The reason I say Eggman Wily is bottom tier garbage is because I think they completely ruined what was going to be a good match with like a twist ending, and I really didn't like that. I know that they did correct the whole Metal Sonic thing in future death battles, but just based on the fact that when you watch Eggman vs. Wily, you want to see Eggman vs. Wily, and I don't really think you get that. And I guess the age of the episode really does kind of drag it behind. It's definitely, you know what? I'll reorganize some of these now because it's definitely not as bad as those two. I don't think. Peach vs. Zelda. Ooh, God, that's actually good. Peach vs. Zelda. Where would I put Peach vs. Zelda? I think again, this would be a match I think that would go differently if you did it again today. And so I don't want to put it low just because things would be different now. But I also don't want to put it too high because I feel like looking back at it, it didn't really live up to the hype. It was a really good episode. I think this would be a nice, decent low C, I think. It's not terrible. It's just kind of in the middle. They're both matches I would like. They could be done better if they did it today. They would be done better if they did it today. Thor vs. Raiden. Yeah, that's actually, ooh, where would I put this actually? God, I want to put it bottom tier garbage just because it's such a stomp, and anybody who's seen it knows it's a stomp. But I get that they had a theme when they were doing it. At least it's not growing pains either because they had a clear idea as to what they were doing. But I don't know. I'll put this in D. It's not great. Like it's pretty far down there. Link vs. Cloud. Again, because they've redone this match and the matchup is different. I think. You know what? I feel pretty confident putting it kind of like middle D. Like it's bad, but it's not god awful bad. Where it's not like definitely not bottom tier garbage for sure. But Link vs. Cloud also had kind of growing pains in the sense that both characters have so much, and I guess maybe because this is such an outdated episode, maybe things are just for the time. It was decent maybe, but I don't know. Batman Spider-Man. This is, I feel like Bats vs. Spidey. God, this is a match I would like to see redone. But at the same time, I don't know if the result would change. Maybe it would. I don't know. You guys are going to have to let me know what you think of this. As for where I would put it, it was a high quality fight. It was definitely a high quality fight. It's definitely kind of in its own way, I think it's kind of a legacy match. I would put this low B. I feel comfortable putting that in low B. Not because it's particularly amazing. It's just not mid tier. It is a little bit above that. It's something you'd rewatch. Pikachu Blanca, definitely growing pains. It's definitely an outdated match for sure. I know Ben himself said that, yeah, Pikachu would probably sweep Blanca. Like, it's not even a question. He would sweep Blanca if they did a rematch. Oh, spoiler warning again. Sorry. Blanca wins. Uh-oh. Anyways, yeah, that's not terrible, I don't think. It's not awful. But I definitely don't think it was great. They definitely could have done better. The first Goku vs. Superman. Ooh, this could be controversial. Potentially, I don't know. Because I see the ones that are coming up, and I do like a substantial amount of them. I remember the very first Death Battle episode I ever watched before I started going back, and it'll probably surprise you. I do remember the very first one I ever watched. But as for Goku vs. Superman 1, I know people really like long fights. I think nowadays people want longer animations. But I think the consistency of 3 to 4 minute fights is good to wrap up all the things that they can do. Or at least in a nice, good, clean fight. I think the length of this fight really drags it on. Or people really want them to start doing longer fight animations just because that's kind of... It's not the bulk of the episode, but people like that is kind of... like that's the signature of Death Battle, right? It's the really fun animations you get for each thing. And I think something as long as Goku vs. Superman 1's, I think is a huge detriment to it. As somebody who's not a super huge fan of Team 4 Star, not for like personal reasons, I'm just not really into that kind of content. The collaboration work that they did with them for all the voices, I just didn't feel emotionally invested in. It's not a terrible episode by any means. So I feel comfortable kind of putting it somewhere in the middle, but maybe high middle? Yeah, I'd put it like the very start of C. I feel pretty comfortable with that. Now, the very first Death Battle episode, I actually am not even there yet, sorry. He-Man vs. Lion-O. I love this because, God, everybody, or at least people around my age, remember He-Man. They remember Lion-O, Thundercats, and oh my God, I'm getting just happy thinking about it. It's such a good match. It's even for early Death Battle, or I guess we're kind of starting when like we're kind of like exiting early Death Battle. We're kind of getting into like I don't want to say Bronze Age Death Battle, but kinda, yeah. It's like exiting all of their super early stuff and getting into like tier 3, or that's poor phrasing because I'm doing a tier list, but no. I think He-Man vs. Lion-O has so much charm to it. I definitely don't think it's definitely low A. It's definitely low A. Okay, now, the first Death Battle episode I ever watched myself was Shao Kahn vs. M. Bison. And I remember where I was when I watched this episode. I was in a hotel. I was traveling with my family to... God, I don't remember where we were going, but I remember we had really good Wi-Fi in the hotel, and I was just browsing YouTube, and I saw that. I'm like, alright, well, this is weird. I've never seen this before. It's the first episode I ever watched, and I loved it. I fell in love with the ending. I'm not going to spoil who wins, but the character who wins kills the other character in a very cool way. There's all like the ghosts and shit. I just love that. Honestly, maybe it's a little bit of nostalgia because of that. I have to put M. Bison vs. Shao Kahn kind of low. It's like low. Yeah, I like low tier A. It's definitely not like their best match ever, but it holds a sentimental value to me. Because that kind of started where... It started my love for all of this. Just the passion I have for discussing fan-made matchups and stuff like that. It just... Oh, it's so good. Okay, now we get... God, what the hell was his name? Ryu vs. Strider. I liked this as well. Aesthetically, it's really fun. I just... Not that any of these other matches so far don't have like aesthetics to them. Like you obviously have the Princess episode with like Peach and Zelda. There's you get legacy matches like Mario Sonic, Vegeta Shadow, stuff like that. I really do like those. Ryu vs. Strider I think has that same. It captures the same kind of energy. It's very like. rooftop ninja stuff. I really do like that. But I don't have like very crazy fond memories of rewatching it constantly. So I think I'm going to put it high tier middle. Yeah, like C tier, like straight kind of in the middle. So so far we're doing pretty good. We're doing very good. We're making our way through this together. Ivy versus Orchid. Now I remember, so I mentioned that not Soul Calibur. Killer Instinct was the first fighting game I got into when I was young, or when I was younger, rather. It's one of the first fighting games I got into when I got into the genre of fighting games. So getting another Killer Instinct match, I think it definitely it adds points just because of that. But at the same time, I started playing Soul Calibur 4. And this was many, many moons ago when Shartvark was just a wee lad. But dude, I fell in love with Soul Calibur 2. I don't know. I definitely know Nightmare is one of my favorite Soul Calibur characters, hands down. Or at least his 4 design with like the teeth chest plate. It's just, God, it's so cool. Anyways, that's not what we're here to discuss. We will discuss that later. Ivy Orchid. I loved I think the aesthetics work, the style works, the match works. There's not like insane. It's kind of a joke match because the joke is huge breasts, which I should put it in peak purely for that. But as a standalone match, God, I don't think it holds up super well. It has the same problem that Felicia Taukaka has, where it's kind of just really isolated and stuck in this single area. You don't get that much character banter, at least not really. Like, animation-wise, they're definitely getting much, much better at putting on like a really good show for you, so it does get points for that. But I think I'm going to put it a few below Felicia Taukaka. Just, yeah, I think that kind of checks out for me. Now, Fox McCloud versus Bucky O'Hare. My God, I never watched Bucky growing up. I genuinely had no idea who this character was, but like learning about it, I'm like, damn, this match makes sense. Like it's a fun, thematically fun matchup. They're both team captains. They're like space fighters. They have their own ships. They go on all their adventures. This is definitely like the one, I guess, gripe that I do have with Fox Bucky is that when you get Fox on the ground, it just feels too Smash-like, And I get why. Like, Fox as a fighter doesn't get a whole lot of, like, physical stuff. A lot of that does come down to Smash Bros. He gets that speedy moveset with all those, like, the reflector and all that, which I'm not saying it's purely because of Smash that I'm not super fond of it, because I do like Smash Bros. It's not a game I play, or I don't play any of them consistently. It's mostly that I can't. Like, I do have access to, I just don't, like... I would prefer to play Smash with other people. So that makes me sound so fucking sad. I have nobody to play Smash with. I'm a loner. But no. It kind of felt like Fox's Smash Bros. Heritage pulled him into that match a little higher than it did Bucky. Like, I felt like it contributed too much to him than anything else. I knew, like, they cover a lot of really interesting thing, like the amputated ankles, like from the ankles below. That stuff is just... That kind of stuff is really interesting to me, and I didn't know that until I had watched that episode. And it's just getting a Star Fox match. I think this match thematically is just super great. It has to go higher A. I think I like Yoshi Raptor more, so I'll put it above that. But it definitely goes above Mario Sonic Shadow Vegeta, for sure. I think it's definitely just... It's too fun to pass up on. Okay, Terminator RoboCop. I'm not a super big fan of either franchise. And I'm not going to, because I'm trying to judge the episodes based on their own merits, not based on how much. Like if I don't like either character, I think that kind of stinks. Like if I judge them just because I don't like it, bad. That's not fair. And I'm trying to judge these matches based on factors that I think a general group would like as well as myself. So, I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, this is my tier list. I could put this in bottom tier garbage if I really hated it, but I don't hate it. I'm just not fond of either character. I do like the Terminator movies way more than I do like RoboCop's. And a 3D fight was good. We don't get super. We haven't gotten like up to this point in Death Battle. We haven't gotten very many of those. Like, God, I'm trying to actually look at which ones we have gotten as 3D. I know it's Goku vs Superman 1. Unless I'm missing anything else. I think that's probably though. We got Link Cloud. That was 3D. That might have been it. So honestly, this, I guess, technically, this kind of does feel like another Legacy match. Terminator, RoboCop, they're both, like, old-timey is not the right word for it, but they're both classic robot. You guys know what I'm trying to say. I think it's definitely not a match I wouldn't go back and watch. So I'm going to put it's definitely lower than Goku Superman. Lower Felicia, yeah. Lower than Felicia. Lower than that, lower than... I'll put it in the bottom of C. I think that checks out. Now we get to something I'm very opinionated on. Luigi vs. Tails. I know Ben... okay, actually, I'm not going to say I know. I'm pretty sure Ben has said that he doesn't like this match either. The voice of Wiz, if you guys don't know, Ben Singer. Personally, I love Luigi and Tails. They're both amazing characters, and I will be revisiting this match in another Death Battle video I'm in the process of. I'm working kind of on just ideas. I'm going to make a video for Death Battles I'd like to see in the future, and Luigi vs. Tails it has something in common with something I'm going to suggest in that video, so I'm not going to spoil that. But on its own, Luigi vs. Tails is just bad. It's bottom tier garbage. I'm sorry. It's actually, you know what? I'll put it top of the bottom tier garbage because it's not the worst of the worst. It's like the best of the worst for sure because it's they did good with the animation. They tried to do good with the research. I think the outcome is absolutely god awful. And this is one I am gonna spoil. So spoiler warning: Tails wins. And the outcome of this definitely changes when you factor in episode 100's Mario vs. Sonic rematch. Because the Mario's durability and power and all that stuff, that completely changes the original match, which I've just kind of spoiled now. My bad. But the thing that kind of throws me off and that makes me not like it, and the thing that makes me put it in bottom tier garbage, is the fact that they don't focus on stats or experience or powers or anything like that. It really feels like the bulk of Luigi vs. Tails only comes down to who has the better machines. And obviously that was going to be Tails. So it feels like a very biased, easy, Sonic win. For, I don't know. I really don't like that. It feels like they did Luigi an immense injustice, and the result would absolutely change if they did that in the future. So that's what that is. Kanto's Pokemon Starter Battle Royale. I love this match. God, I love Pokemon, for starters. Pokemon is one of my favorite, alongside Yu-Gi-Oh! Pokemon is something I grew up with when I was a kid. I watched my cousins play it on their Game Boys before I ever got one. God, I loved it. Pokemon it means a lot to me, is like a person. And while my favorite starter didn't win, I'm not going to spoil it. I'm going to try not to spoil it. My favorite starter did lose, but regardless of that, it was a very fun match that delved into like probability of like all of these like if you did like 1,000 matchups based on probability rates of like attack success chance and like type, like the rock paper scissors. I just love it. It's so good. I need to put this one high A, but not super high A. Ooh, God, do I like it? Yeah, I do like it way more than the Ninja Turtles. I'm definitely gonna like I said, I'm gonna revisit this at some point, and kind of like just swap them up a little bit based on what I like. Now, Fulgore versus Sector. I really like this too because again, Killer Instinct, goated. Mortal Kombat though, not like a. I've said this to a friend before. I don't like Mortal Kombat. Like I just straight up Mortal Kombat characters I don't like. I don't like the franchise of Mortal Kombat. I don't like the. It's not the gore. It's not like the killing or anything like that. I have no issues with that. I just don't like it. Like I don't like Mortal Kombat in any way, shape, or form. But my God, do I love Killer Instinct. And regardless of how the episode goes, again, I'm not going to spoil it. It is such a fun match. It felt a little light. Like it didn't feel like either character is really being given their like full capability. I'll put it kind of high tier mid B. Like I think that feels right. Like even if I don't like Mortal Kombat characters, I'll give that the kind of I'll give it the justice it deserves of having a really high matchup. Godzilla Gamera. My God. I don't know if I'd call this another legacy match, but both characters, in comparison to each other, are both extremely iconic. I don't know what Gamera's like fan base is. I don't know how large in scale that goes. I know that Godzilla fans they go wild. Godzilla fans are kind of nutty, and I do like the match. It's definitely a little bit better than the last Godzilla match we got. But for what it is, for it's on its own, it's another like really clean 3D fight. I really did like it. God, this is actually kind of tough because I don't want to put it low. I don't want to put it high, but I also don't want to put it in the middle. It's also not growing pains either because they covered both characters exceptionally well. They really delve into like just history of the characters and like the weird, like wacky movie move sets that they have based on the shows and everything. I would put this high B as well, kind of mid tier, definitely above most of the like season 1 matchups and stuff like that. Now, Captain America vs. Batman, I already know where I'm going to put it, and I'm putting it in bottom tier garbage. And the reason for that is, I know that this match, it wasn't meant to be a good match. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, somebody correct me in the comments, but I really remember, for a second I actually thought I stopped recording. My God, I'm so happy I'm still recording. Batman vs. Captain America, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't meant to be a match. It was one of those things where it's like, all right, we're going to have this episode on the side. Like, if we need time to work on a bigger match, we're going to throw this out here for the week, just to give the fans something to watch. And in that case, it just feels like a filler match. It's definitely not like... Yeah, I'll put it kind of in the middle of bottom tier garbage. Because it's not the worst of the worst, which you can clearly see what is. But I don't know. It wasn't a match that was meant to be impactful or entertaining or well researched. I don't really care who wins either way. I like both properties, sure. It just wasn't a match that was meant to do well. It was just a throwaway fight where it's like, all right, just get it out. So, yeah, I don't think it really deserves much more credit than that, other than being a throwaway fight. Tiger Zord versus Gundam Epion. Ooh, I don't remember this match very well. Actually, I don't think I remember this fight. I remember how it ends. Unless I'm thinking about something completely different. Because this is the one with the... It's the White Ranger, right? Yeah, I think it is. God, I remember the animation being really good. The fight was really fun. It was really good. I just don't remember it. I think I need to make a new tier. I'm going to put a new tier below Growing Pains. Add a row below, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to add a new tier entirely for matches I don't feel comfortable giving an input on, just because I don't remember it. So my new tier is don't remember. And honestly, it's true. I don't remember. I have very little information on this. I could go and rewatch it right now, but this video is already exceptionally long. I need to edit this as well, or at least kind of cut up the silences when I'm yapping about random shit. Now, Ryu vs. Scorpion, I didn't like. I remember. Again, Mortal Kombat, but I kind of like Scorpion as a character, like even in Mortal Kombat. Again, Street Fighter, I'm not super familiar with. I didn't really grow up with Street Fighter. Like, I know of a lot of the characters and what they do and what their stories are. And apart from, like, fighting game, I feel like this match has very little ground to stand on. And I remember who won, and it doesn't really bother me. I feel like maybe the result would change if they did this again. It's just not something I'd like to see again. I'll put this low, yeah, honestly, like mid to low tier D, I think kind of works just fine. Now, Deadpool Deathstroke. Oh, also, yeah, I'm sitting down, I'm going through these one at a time, so my throat is beginning to hurt already. So, let me have something to drink. I think we all knew that this match was going to happen at some point. You know, the character Deadpool is a parody of Deathstroke. You know, they got the similar names, the similar, like, they do the same things, essentially. Deadpool is just the funny, goofy version. It's a match I don't really feel like I would go back and watch. The animation was good. Maybe I would put it... I would definitely watch it low. You know, low tier C is fine. I think I'm kind of comfortable doing that. Kirby vs. Majin Buu. Oh, God. Now, this is what I was saying about Kirby. Kirby is a goddamn monster. I thought for sure going into this match, spoiler warning, I thought that Majin Buu was going to sweep him, because they start going into... like Super Boo and Kid Boo, and how like you can't rip him apart or anything like that. Like he can rip holes through dimensions and shit. Like he is unbelievably broken. I'm like, all right, well, it's over for Kirby. Psych. No, it wasn't. Kirby is a demon in cute ball form, and it was an entertaining match. I liked it. It was a good fight. Definitely high C. I would definitely put it. You know, I would put it in front of Goomba Koopa, yeah. I think the very top of B, I think, is a very comfortable spot for it. It's a good match. It's very good. Good enough to go in A. You know, yeah. Definitely good enough to go in A, but low A. I think that... I feel good about that. Soul Bad Guy versus Ragna the Blood Edge. I did not like this fight. I mean, I liked the animation was cool. The animation was cool. The music was good. I really liked that. The, like, let's mosey, asshole. I like that shit. It was awesome. Very cool. Definitely a match I think would change if they did it in the... If they redid this fight, I do think it would change. No spoilers. I like how I say that, but I do just spoil, like, every fourth or fifth match. I just end up spoiling what it is anyways. Regardless, great fight. They covered a lot of, like, the really weird... Not uncanny, just really wacky history of BlazBlue. And I think because it's one of those... I remember... Dude, it's so weird. I remember watching this, too, in my house. I remember watching this in my basement. Is I had that pulled up on my old iPod Touch. Oh my god, yeah. Okay, just a little bit of nostalgia baited. I got nostalgia baited a little bit. I'll put this like top of C above Goku vs Superman 1. I think it kind of beats my nostalgia for I guess what that match was. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Ooh, Toph versus Gara. God, I love both. Like Naruto and Airbender are just incredible shows. If you haven't seen either of those, huge recommend. Like both of them are just incredible franchises. And I remember going into this match thinking, I think I know who's gonna win. I was wrong, but I also believe Ben said that if they redid this, the result would change. Like based on things that came out very soon after this episode aired. Which, that's funny, they call that the Death Battle Curse, where like something comes out that completely changes the match they just did. So it immediately becomes outdated. Which, if you haven't heard of that, look that up. Look up the Death Battle Curse. It is incredibly funny, and quite a few of these matches did get hit with it. But on its own, Gara vs. Toph, man, it's a fun match, albeit a little short, and they didn't really show off very much. Even if I like both characters, I feel like it's going to go in C, but it'll have to be low C, because these other matches, I feel like you definitely get, like, you get way more substance if you watch these than you do Gara Toph. And I think it might have more substance than Terminator Robocop, at least for people who like Gara and Toph more, if you're fans of like cartoons and anime. Now, the remaster, not remake, the remaster of Boba Fett vs. Samus Aran. Now, where did I put the original ones? Down here somewhere. Yeah, Growing Pains. Now, when they redid this, in memory of I remember because they did have a tribute to Monty Oum at the end of it. I think the announcement had maybe just hit, or like it had been only a little while since he passed away. Honestly, rest in peace, Monty Oum. Great show writer. He did an amazing work on the first few seasons of RWBY. Yeah, honestly, yeah. Now the remaster, it's definitely, you know what, mid B. I think I would probably. I wouldn't watch it over these. I would watch it. Actually, yeah, yeah. I'll feel good about that. It's a good match. It definitely deserves the. It definitely deserves the kind of top part of the tier list. But because it was a remaster, I think you knew where it was going. You weren't really good at getting anything insanely new. And I think that was kind of to be expected. Either way, I think I'm pretty comfortable putting in there. What's next? Chuck Norris versus Segata Sanshiro. This episode is huge. This is what I mean when I said I'm not going to do a tier for gags, like joke matches, because the whole thing was like, well, like, did you know Chuck Norris has a beard in his fist and stuff like that? It's just really weird, goofy stuff. And Sanshiro like standing on glass and like leaping into the atmosphere to like redirect a rocket. It was just very unhinged feats of strength that I think you have to put this like I'd say low B, just because it's such a weird match. You want to go back and look at it. Like all of these matches I would go back and watch, like, of my own will. If somebody reminded me, hey, you want to go check that episode out, then these ones I'd be like, yeah, I'll go watch them. Guts vs. Nightmare. Bottom tier garbage. Huge bottom tier garbage. And here's why. I call bullshit. Well, maybe I don't call bullshit. I don't know enough about Berserk to know whether or not Guts would win that. But how they went about doing the match is it's definitely not bottom. You know, I put this like up top high tier garbage. It's a fun fight. It's a great fight. In fact, actually, yeah, I feel good about that. It's not a bad fight at all. You know, voice work is incredible. Or actually, I don't know if they did voices. Maybe they used voice clips, but regardless, cool fight, fun rundowns for both character. The analysis at the end is what completely tosses this in the bin for me. Because the analysis on why the character wins, and I'm going to spoil it, spoiler warning, Guts wins, and the entire reason for him winning is, quote, because he always wins, unquote. That's the entire, rundown afterwards. It's Guts fights stronger people than him every day, and he wins! So he'd win here, against a character who might be stronger than him, and faster than him, and beats him in every other way. That is just so garbage. That's just terrible. There's that kind of thinking. It screams bias, for starters. I don't think there was bias. I think maybe you had people in the writer's room who weren't really into doing, the mathematical feats and stuff like that. And, yeah, I think they took that and they just went, yeah, he wins. He always wins, so he wins this one. By that logic, bro, Guts would beat Superman. Guts would kill literally everybody on this list. In fact, I'm putting him in peak. I'm kidding. I'm not putting him in peak. Iron Man versus Lex Luthor, though. Do I feel like this match would change if they did it today? I don't think so. I'm not going to say who wins, but I think the winner would have more to win with if they redid it today. I understand the connections. The 3D fight was awesome. The voice work was awesome. However, it's not really a match I would like to go back and watch. Even if the match is good, and it is good, so I'll kind of put it in the middle. I think I'll put it one step below Terminator RoboCop. Just because, at least with that, I remember how, I don't know. I remember there's a lot more to that than there was this. In a weird way. Now this is Goliath versus... God, I'm not going to cut this. What the hell's his name? It's not Beast Boy. That's what's his face. Blue Beast. Beast Man. William the X-Man. Fuck, what the hell's his name? Hold on. Okay, now I'm going to look. What's his name? His name is literally just Beast. Yeah, in case you guys don't know, I have another tab behind my face cam right now, or behind my PNG cam, where I can, just in case I need to get the name of a character if I haven't seen it in a while. I'm not rewatching any of these episodes while I'm doing the tier list. That's why I have the Don't Remember tab. Because I could watch an episode and be like, oh my god, this is incredible! And I put it in peak just because I'm a fucking nerd. And it makes me excited to watch Death Battle, because I'm a huge dork. I do remember this, though. I remember they had that whole nighttime thing going on. I remember who won. I remember how he won. Brutal. I remember liking the character who lost more until he lost. And then I think I started researching the other one. I'm like, yeah, this guy's pretty cool. But is it a match I'd go back and watch? Yes. Yeah, I think it is. Beast vs. Goliath. It's a sprite fight. It's a pretty good sprite fight. Better than Ivy Orchid. No, better than. No, let me look at that. Yeah, I feel good about that. Snake vs. Fisher. Huge A. It's definitely not definitely straight mid tier. A. Not top tier A, not bottom tier A, but definitely mid-tier A. Amazing work getting Chris Sabat, of all people, to voice Snake. Dude, that's incredible. Bro, getting Vegeta's voice actor to do Death Battle work, phenomenal, for starters. That's so cool. That's actually awesome. Regardless, beyond that, I think maybe... they covered a whole lot of stuff. They covered the whole Snake withstanding that huge microwave tunnel. That was really cool. Just the analysis was good. I think they covered a lot of bases. They covered a lot of really interesting stuff. Yeah, I feel really good about that being high A. And honestly, as I'm looking, I want to take just a break real quick, just to say, looking at all of the matches here, I'm seeing matches here that I am actually kind of surprised to see me rank that high. Like, looking back at all of them and discussing them all with you guys right now, I'm really glad that I'm taking the time to do this. Also, this video is clearly not scripted. You hear me stumbling like a moron. Vader versus Doctor Doom. Low D. It's not the worst of the worst. I think both characters. Actually, you don't know. I'm gonna put this in growing pains. I'm gonna put this in high growing pains because I remember the fight. The fight was cool. I remember how it ended. The ending was cool. I don't think they had fully grasped either character yet, which is why, obviously, it's going to go in growing pains. Because I know both Doctor Doom and Vader would return for matches of their own later on. And I think then they did a very, very, very good job of doing. And so, yeah, I think growing pains is a very comfortable place to put them. Goku vs. Superman 2. Bottom tier garbage. Not the worst, though. Clearly not the worst. Oh, God, I'm about to sneeze. I cut it out so you couldn't hear me sneeze. Fuck you guys. Anyways, bottom tier garbage because I think they didn't learn anything from Goku vs. Superman 1. Goku vs. Superman 1 has... It has familiarity to it. It has kind of a history behind it. It's the first time they tackled a huge legacy match beyond Mario vs. Sonic, which obviously I think obviously ranks a lot higher. But the second time around, honestly, the only thing that I want to put Goku vs. Superman 2 higher in is that I'm pretty sure this is the first time that they use Brandon Yates' music. Yates, you're never going to watch this. I'm too small for you to recognize me. Mr. Yates, please. I just want you to know, you are the only thing giving this episode points. Your work on, God, is the track Hero? Is that what it's called? God, it's so good. I fell in love with that song the instant I heard it. Alive, that's what the song... It was called Alive. Anyways, the animation is cool. The concept is cool. The only reason for it being, Goku is stronger now. He could win. Joke's on you, no he can't. I felt like both characters were like... It was a huge disservice to both of them. It just didn't fit. Like, for where it is, it didn't fit. If they skipped 2 entirely, and they did, like, Goku Superman 3, like, when they did it, like 2 years ago, and they just never did 2, I don't know. Maybe Goku vs. Supes 2 is very good as a stepping stool. Yeah. They used it to get better, so it definitely doesn't deserve to be at bottom tier garbage. And you know what? I'll address it. Bieber vs. Black, it was just... I remember way back then, the Bieber hate was huge. I don't listen to his music. I don't listen to Rebecca Black's music. I've never been a fan of either of their stuff. I don't really follow celebrities that much. I don't care. The match, it was just hateful. It was just hateful for the sake of being hateful, and I know Death Battle acknowledges that, and so that's really all you need to say about it. They know it's bad. We know it's bad. We know it's just mean-spirited. Moving on. DK vs. Knuckles. Huge match. This is going in A. It's, for starters, it's just fun. Like, the setup was fun. You know, like, Knuckles and the Banana Horde. It's just, they're both the funny punch-em characters. You know, with DK punching a moon. They both do that whole, like, both characters punched a moon. But, I don't know, it's a fun match. It's thematically fun. They're both kind of, like, I wouldn't say they're super similar in terms of, like, personalities or anything like that. I mean, sure, they're both kind of stupid. And they do touch on Sonic Boom for Knuckles because of that, just to follow kind of, like, the DK shows. Like, how big of an idiot he is. But, I don't know, apart from those few things, it definitely goes low A for sure. It definitely doesn't beat, like, any of the other things in A. But it's still a good fight. It's definitely one I would go back and watch. Now, ooh, God, we have so much to go through. Oh boy. Oh God, I actually might have to like pause. How long have I been doing this? I've been doing this for an hour. Oh boy. Yeah, I've been doing this for an hour. I don't think I'm going to get through all this. I think I'll try to get to episode 100, and then I'll take a break, and then maybe I'll continue this another time. Wolverine versus Raiden. Raiden. Is it Raiden? I'm pretty sure it's Raiden. It was a good match. I think the whole discussion point about like cutting through adamantium and stuff, and whether that's possible, I'm not going to tell you who wins, obviously. But I remember that was like a huge talking point for that episode. The match was fun. The music was fun. I know Yates did, or at least they used more music from him for that. That was good. You do love to see that. Is it something I'd rewatch? It is. It's very high, something I'd rewatch. So I'd put it, yeah, like very, very top of D. I don't think it's great. Like it's a little bit lower than mid tier stuff, but it's definitely one I'd go back. Hercule Satan versus Dan Hibiki. This one I feel like is also, it would have gone in joke match, but it wouldn't go in. The fact that they're kind of both goofballs and they're both kind of like huge screw ups. It's kind of like their core theming for why they did the match. I don't know. I don't look super fondly on this like any other thing it did, so I'm going to put it lower mid-tier D. I think I feel pretty comfortable about that. And I want to at least try to cover every match like properly. I don't just want to say like, oh, I didn't like this didn't like this goes here, didn't like this goes here. I want to at least try to give my thoughts on some of these. But god damn, this is going to be a long video. Yang Xiaolong versus Tifa Lockhart. Ooh boy. Ruby has had a rough run in Death Battle. It's very obvious looking back now. I know that this has been said by the Death Battle team that if they redid this match, ooh, it would definitely be different. But given their work with Rooster Teeth and the work Death Battle has done up to this point has been very good. Yang vs. Tifa is a good match. It's a good fight. I really like it. It's definitely one I would rewatch, but it's not one I particularly like, knowing that the result would change. I think it definitely goes below Ryu Scorpion. Like, I think I would probably watch that one. Actually, you know what? No, I would definitely watch that one over. Yeah. Would I watch it? Yeah, I would. I would watch Yang vs. Tifa over all of these other ones. I mean, some of these episodes are still good, but I at least think they were really They were pretty saucy when they made Yang vs. Tifa. It's a good fight, regardless of how it ended. It's a good fight. Now, I love Mega Man. I don't know super much about Astro Boy apart from what they covered in Death Battle. Mega vs. Astro. It's definitely in the B's for sure. It's actually I'm gonna put it very high B. It's a good fight. It's a very good fight. There's a lot of good music to it. I actually think I like it more than Goomba Gooba. Yeah, easy. Now Green Arrow versus Hawkeye. I think I remember who wins. I'm not gonna spoil it because I'm just thinking about it in my head. I'm pretty sure I know who wins. Yeah, I do remember who wins, and I'm very surprised by that. Now that I'm remembering that, it's a good fight. I do like that for bow and arrow users. They really do. Like the fight has to start at long range, where they're trying out all the interesting things that they do, and then they get close. And Green Arrow does like the boxing glove arrow, which is just really weird and interesting. And it's a neat fight. It's a very clever and creative fight. And because of that, it's definitely one I would rewatch. I think, weirdly, I probably would be more keen to rewatch Rainbow Dash and Starscream over Green Arrow Hawkeye. just because of how like they're both like we have an era of like just really weird and interesting fights in B tier. I think it's like most of them they're all good episodes, but their strangeness is kind of what puts them there. They make them very memorable and good. Now, Red versus. I'm pretty sure it's Red versus Tai, right? Is that who it was? Because I don't watch Digimon. I didn't. I don't dislike Digimon. I just didn't grow up with it. I very very easily grew up with Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh. Those are like those are my childhoods. Digimon, not so much. I don't think I've watched a single episode of Digimon. Same thing for like animes like the Beyblade and stuff like that. I never ever got into those. But I definitely remember how the episode goes. I remember the ending felt like not emotionally sad, it just sad. Like it just like it was such a weird fight. The voice work was weird. I know they covered a lot of the Pokemon, not like the Ash Ketchum anime. They covered like the spin-off Pokemon Red Blue anime, which I don't know. I don't know. I know the idea was to be just Red and Charizard versus guy, I don't remember his name. Is it just Greymon? Because then he becomes War Greymon and whatever the hell else he becomes. But I'm pretty sure it is Red versus Tai. I don't know. I felt like given what both sides got, I didn't really like. It's good, like quality wise, it's good. Did that? Okay, thank God that went back down there. Quality wise, it's a good episode. I personally didn't like it, but I definitely like it more than. I definitely got more than those. Actually, no, I'd put it down there. I definitely watched Dan vs. Satan, then Red vs. Tai. Okay, what do we got next? Dante Bayonetta. Easy. You know what? It's... Oh, I actually got it. Okay, right now it's sitting at the bottom of A. I don't think it's going to stay there. I need a second to think about this. You know, I don't think... Five had not dropped by the time they did Dante Bayonetta. They covered a lot of like the just the crazy heritage of Dante, and I know like obviously they did the same for Bayonetta because it wouldn't be fair if they did otherwise. But I am a Devil May Cry fan way more than Bayonetta. I've never like taken the time to get into anything Bayonetta related. But Devil May Cry itself was peak, but just because I like it doesn't necessarily make it a great episode. I think I would sneak it into... Yeah. I would watch Mega Man Astro Boy before Dante Bayonetta, but I definitely would watch Dante Bayonetta over Goomba Koopa. Yeah. I feel like that's fine. I also really like it. It does get bonus points because it set up the DBX between Trish and... what the hell is her name? Morticia or whatever the hell her name is? I don't remember. Jeanette or whatever. I don't remember. I'm not a Bayonetta fan, right? Moving on. Bowser Ganon. What a pile of crap. Not really. It's not really bad. I think I feel very comfortable putting it high D. It's not good. I don't really like it. I really do like the aesthetics of it, like Final Boss, stuff like that. I feel like they really did shaft Bowser for Bowser Ganon. Spoiler alert, Bowser loses. He doesn't win, which I think is wrong. I think the only holy magic thing on Ganon is like a huge detriment to it. Well, actually, well, no. I guess I agree that Ganon would win. I just feel like the way they went about it wasn't as accurate as it could have been. You know, because I think Bowser's survivability as of Bowser Eggman that they did 6-7 months ago now. Actually, it'll probably be 8 or 9 months. Actually, no, it's been well over a year, actually. Oh my god. How time flies. But his survivability, I think, was severely like nerfed for this fight, which this is a several year old fight, so I get it. Ratchet and Clank versus Jack and Daxter. Now, Midna would beat me with a club if I ranked this low. And I'm not going to rank it low anyways. But Jack and Daxter, or Jackson Daxter, I've never played there. I think I might have played one of their games once at a Holiday Inn for like a friend's birthday party. But Ratchet and Clank, I've seen way more of. I know that they've been getting way more stuff. Not as of recently. They've gotten some stuff recently. I agree with the outcome. I know that they delve into a lot of like the like earth energies and stuff like that they both kind of utilize, or at least Jack does, far more than Ratchet does. It's a good fight. It's definitely a good fight. Where would I put it though? Ratchet and Clank vs. Jack and Daxter. I would put this fight before, or I would put it behind Ivy Orchid, but before Beast Goliath. Yeah, I feel comfortable about that. Okay, I've paused a few times now, and I'm thinking. For episodes I just don't like, I might not talk about them as frequently because I know the ones I have spoken about I think really fondly of. And I really don't want this video to be 4 hours uploading it in like January 20th just because I can't get it up anytime sooner with like scheduling. So matches I'm not super fond of, I'm probably going to talk very little of and just rank them where I think they go. Flash Quicksilver. It's a good match. I like it. The sprite fight's fun. The gimmick of it being a race where they're going all around the world, I like that. I think we all knew who was going to win that, so where would I put it? Yeah, like low tier C. Joker Sweet Tooth. Fun match. Very fun. Not very fun, though. Bottom of C. Shadow Mewtwo. Bottom tier garbage. Like, actually, like, just, well, again, not bottom tier garbage. Shadow vs. Mewtwo had that kind of issue where it felt like it also felt like a total throwaway episode. So, I don't know, that didn't really work. Meta Carolina, yeah, here we go. It's just down there. That just felt like a Rooster Teeth, Red vs. Blue throwaway episode. Cammy Sonya. Again, not super knowledgeable on either of these characters. So, I remember the fight. It was also good. I'd probably watch it above Red Tie just because just to watch it again to be interesting. Tracer Scout, I'm gonna put this one pretty low as well. I don't think I'd put it in between them. Yeah. All right, Ken vs. Terry. Where do I put Ken vs. Terry? Again, neither things I'm really like a super big fan of. I think I'd put them like bottom of D. Not because it's bad. Actually, you know what? No. I don't really remember it, so I don't feel confident in giving it a rating. Amy vs. Ramona. I think they had something here. I just don't think the connections for the characters don't really work apart. Like, I know there's like the hammer thing. I think that's a connection. I think Ramona might have a hammer. I know they're like love interests for like the main characters are not really love interests. I know like Amy's into Sonic. I don't know if Sonic's into Amy. Well, at least it's just one of those, like, she's chasing him around all the time. That's kind of the catalyst for the fight. I would definitely watch it above. Yeah, put it right there. Hulk Broly. Definitely a thing that would change going forward. I think it's kind of bottom tier garbage. It's very high bottom tier garbage. I just don't think it's a fun episode. You know, it's very immovable force, unstoppable object. I don't think those matches are very fun if one of them is just more immovable than the other, in which case Doomsday. Zoro Urza. Fairy Tail One Piece. Man, I'm gonna bring this up in my future wanted death battles. We need a pirate episode. Like not like One Piece pirate where it's like anime goofy. Like we need like a pirate episode. Like Spinal versus Cervantes is God, I want that so bad. I would put this in the bottom of C though. Deadpool Pinkie Pie. Another joke match. I'm gonna stick it right next to Mr. Satan, Dan Hibiki. Just they just feel the same to me. Like I know the quality of them is completely different, but I don't like either of them more than the other for any other reasons that I don't think they go higher or lower than where I put them. Lara Croft, Nathan Drake. No. Scrooge McDuck, Shovel Knight. Fun. Very fun. Not as fun as... I'd put it above Iron Man Lex Luthor. Venom vs. Bane was good. I really did like Venom vs. Bane. I think Spider-Man vs. Batman has it has a lot of strengths for like... Yeah, I feel like it goes kind of like low B. It's a good fight. I think that there's a very strong connection between like the Batman's verse and Spider-Man's verse. They kind of have not similar villains, but they feel samey in a lot of the ways that they relate to their protagonists. And I think Venom vs. Bane is a very good example of that. Honestly, it's actually really convenient that I put them side by side. That was accidental. Voltron Megazord. Actually, this was a very good fight. They brought a lot of, high C. I don't think it's a great fight to me, warrant going back and watching it a bunch of times. Yeah, I think I'll just leave it at that. I don't think I have too much to say about it. Natsu vs. Ace. Another One Piece fairy tale. Where did I put the last one? Urza Zoro. Where did I put that? Because I think it's going to go right behind. Actually, I think it'll go right in front of it, actually. I think I like that way more than I did. I didn't think it was bad, did I? Oh, I guess I did. Well, I'll definitely put it in front of Joker Sweet Tooth. Because it's not that bad. The whole, fire-eating thing is just very interesting, so... I'd go back and watch it once in a blue moon. Glacius Sub-Zero, I didn't like. I think it just goes straight to the bottom of D. It's not garbage. It's just, yeah. I don't get the connections other than ice. Captain Marvel, Android 18. I remember how this went. Mid-C. Oh, okay. This is one I do want to talk about. Metal Sonic vs. Zero. This, I feel like, had a bit of debate in the community, and this one I'm going to spoil. You put a guy who goes out to kill robotic animals against a robotic animal. Surprise. Metal Sonic lost. I feel like they really did kind of a discredit to him by bringing in, Metal Overlord. I understand that that's supposed to be, taking a character at their best, and he's, a huge entity when he's Metal Overlord. It just didn't feel right. I feel like in good conscience I have to put this below. It's definitely not lower than Meta Carolina, just because that just felt like Rooster Teeth slop, unfortunately. Another Pokemon Digimon. This one, though, I feel like I like way better than Red vs. Tai. So, yeah, it's definitely going above D. Mid-C, honestly, for Renamon Lucario. It was a very short fight, though. I think that fight is like literally 58 seconds or something like that. I think it's very, very, very short. But it was fun. Yeah, I am kind of speeding through these a little bit more. TJ Combo versus Balrog. I liked the aesthetic of this. This is definitely low B. Or maybe mid B. Yeah. The whole, not cage match, that's Wario DDD. The whole boxing ring match, them going absolutely insane on each other in a boxing ring just feels perfect for the both of them, for like their characters. And I don't know, I like that. Balrog, he plays dirty every once in a while. Like if things aren't really going his way, he will cheat. And I do like that. Like they're interesting characters to pit against each other. And because they come from different franchises, it definitely makes for a really good death battle episode. In fact, I would probably put this in front of those. Yeah. Oh, what's next? Silver Samurai, right? Silver Samurai vs. Shredder. The animation was super clean on this. I really did like that. They had a lot of really fun homage to the Ninja Turtles. I would put it low B. And again, I'll reorganize these afterwards if I really feel like it. But because the fight was clean, the characters had at least some kind of like general similarity in like their styles and stuff like that, like where they come from. I feel like that's good. Smokey the Bear versus McGruff the Crime Dog. They brought Chris Sabat back to play Smokey the Bear, and that's just, bro, that should be peak. But you know what? I am going to put it in A. I'm going to put it in A because it's such a weird and unique fight. It's fun. It's goofy. You like to go back and watch it just because it's fun. They did the hand-drawn animation style for it. It was super amazing. The soundtrack was fun. I like it. Good fight. Very good fight. Wonder Woman vs. Thor. God, I remember this. No, I don't remember this. Not really. Like, I remember it in the sense where I know how it goes, but I don't remember any of their logic or, like, their reasoning for who won and why. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. Naruto Ichigo. You know what? Peak. Dude, this was so good. I've said this before. Naruto is another thing I grew up watching. So good. I did not watch Bleach. Yeah, I never grew up with Bleach. I never grew up with Bleach. I knew of it. It's one of those things, you grew up online, you're kind of familiar with all the same like spaces. Like I knew about One Piece and stuff too. I just never watched that. The only thing I've watched of One Piece is a movie. Batman Beyond versus is it Batman Beyond and Spider-Man 2099, right? I remember this. I don't remember being super fond of it though. Like it's good, so I'll put it low C. And it's definitely one I'd go back and watch. I remember the part of the thing was the whole like you have Batman delivering advice, which that feels a little cheap actually. Like that feels like outside help. Like, I know McGinnis has his AI, like the AI companion. I don't remember what her name was. He's got Gronk in the suit, but Virgil versus Sephiroth. I didn't like this. It's low. It's not garbage. The fight is clean. Because the fight is clean, I'll move it up quite a bit. I'll move it pretty high up. In fact, I'll move some of these down actually because I don't have so much familiarity with the Kuma vs. Shang Tsung, because I remember the whole thing I didn't like about it is because it just felt like a Dragon Ball fight the whole time. Anyways, Virgil Sephiroth I didn't like because I felt like I knew everything that was going to happen going into the match, and like if you know either franchise, you kind of know where it's going. So it kind of does, like, it taints the episode a little bit to where, like, if you're just there for a cool fight, sometimes I am, then yeah, it goes up pretty high on D, but it's not that great. Batman vs. Black Panther. I want to say, because they started doing Werewolf Media as, like, the music for the fight, I remember, because they do that fight called, it's like Battle at the Zoo or something like that. It's a good fight. It felt kind of like Batman vs. Captain America. It's definitely not bottom tier garbage. Maybe I'd put this kind of high tier growing pains because I know this is kind of when they started entering a new phase of Death Battle. They really started to do more research. They started to really they started to hit home a lot more mathematic points and stuff like that. So I feel like Growing Pains is a decent place for that. Raven versus oh god, what the hell's her name? Twilight Sparkle or some shit. Hold on. What the hell's her name? Twilight Sparkle. Oh my god, I got it right. Okay, it's actually pretty funny. I actually thought I was making that name up. Her name is actually Twilight Sparkle. That's awesome. All right, I'm gonna give myself points for that. I remember that being a really goofy. I'm pretty sure she was playing with dolls. Raven was. Well, I would put it I'd put it high D tier. It's not awful. I'd rewatch it given the occasion where I'd be like, yeah, I feel like watching that. It'd be pretty good. Now we get JoJo versus Fist of the North Star. I'm pretty sure, yeah. I forgot his name. Yeah, Jotaro versus Kenshiro. I remember, it's not a gag match. I know it's not a gag match. But I know there's a whole thing about just how unfathomably weird and busted Kenshiro is, and I feel like that kind of pulls me out of it a little bit. Not more so than some of the other matches, so I'll put it low. Spyro Crash. Come on. Spyro Crash. Peak. Spyro Crash is peak. I love Spyro. I haven't played any of the games. Spyro fan. Excited to play it for the first time. Yeah. Not a super huge fan of Crash, but this is also, despite being owned by the same property, it's still kind of a legacy matchup. They've met before. It's just a very interesting fight that at least I definitely wanted to see it when I knew they were doing it. Brandon Yiss cooked with some good music, or that might have been Their Wolf as well. I'm not sure. Either way, good music. Sora versus Kid Icarus. Garbage, but mid-tier garbage. I don't like it. I'm not against Kingdom Hearts. It's definitely not my speed of things. It just wasn't a match I was interested in. The math felt weird. The fight felt weird. The death felt weird. I don't know. It didn't hit at all. Leon Kennedy versus Frank West. Pretty good, actually. I know exactly where I'm going to put that and put it right behind Ratchet and Clank for Jak and Daxter. The music was good. The setting was good. It's a good match. That's why it goes above, it goes definitely above the middle tier of C. So, Doctor Strange and Doctor Fate. This one, I'm going to put a little bit higher. I'm going to put in high B. The fight was interesting. There was a lot of really interesting magic and stuff you could do. I feel like this is also a fight that could have been done in modern times, and it would have a different outcome, maybe. I don't know. There's definitely a lot going on in that fight that I'd be like, you know what? I would be interested in seeing something like that again. Ryu versus Jin. This is definitely... I remember, this is kind of a new for me. It's like I said, I'm not really into Street Fighter or Tekken, but I'm putting this very, very high B, just because the fight that they did, the animation, was actually legendary. I remember rewatching this. I forgot where we were. I had some issues. Let's see. Samurai Jack vs. Afro Samurai. Oh my god. I really like the style of animation, and they were definitely going ham with the custom music tracks in this era of Death Battle. This is good. I think this is probably low B. As somebody who's not super interested in either of the characters, I have to admit the style was good, the fight was good. It was kind of a short fight, but it was good. Carnage vs. Lucy. I did rewatch this one recently. I do remember liking it. I'll put it a high B. Yeah. Oh God, Optimus Prime versus God. What was the Gundam's name again? It's literally just Gundam. They just call it Gundam. Okay, well, I think we all had a feeling we knew who was gonna win, despite who I was rooting for. I'd put this very high B. It's definitely one I'd watch again. Convenient that the Gundams or it's not really the same. Whatever. The first live action death battle is Nightwing versus Daredevil. I like it conceptually. The fight is definitely good. Isma Hawk nailed it for, like, part of me wants to put this in Growing Pains because obviously, like, you don't really get that much opportunity to do live action fights. I remember this is also around the time, like, because I started watching by M. Bison, Shao Kahn, and I think by when they did this fight, I think that's when I started getting involved with the community and talking with people and making friends through like Death Battle, commenting on like Death Battle's Facebook page, etc. And I remember pitching a few episodes to fans back then. I don't remember how well they were received. I don't remember what they were, but it was a good match. I don't want to put it in anything below B. So I think I'd put it middle B because it's good. It's like mid tier good. It's definitely not Growing Pains because Isma Hawk knew what they were doing. Now the Mario Sonic rematch, I'm definitely gonna put it above the first Mario vs Sonic. I'm gonna put them side by side too, because at least regarding Mario vs Sonic, they definitely improved it. It's still a classic match. Yeah, I think that just seems right. Ultron versus Sigma. God, I remember like Infection Perfection is probably not probably. It's one of Brandon Yates' best tracks. I know he remastered it a little while ago. I'll put it in the bottom of A. It's definitely a good one. Roshi versus Jiraiya. Master Roshi versus Jiraiya. I remember not liking it as much. Maybe that's just because the character I wanted to win lost. And I know that's biased to say I just didn't like it because of that. It's very shallow. So, on its own, it's a very well animated death battle. The music is great. The voice acting is great. The setup to the fight is great. The analysis is great. The rundowns are great. I'll put this high B. Despite my personal thoughts on the winner, I'm going to put it high B. Because it's still a good fight, and I'd still go back and watch it regardless of who won. Thanos vs. Darkseid. This might be controversial. I'm putting it mid to low tier D. I understand Thanos vs. Darkseid is supposed to be, and not a legacy match. It's supposed to be iconic, right? They're both kind of generally the same size. They're both equal threats, I guess, to Marvel and DC. The actual execution of the fight, once you get through the rundowns and the fight and you're getting to the analysis, you just begin to feel like none of it was worth it. Like, even with all of the stuff one person had on their side, it still just kind of outweighs the other in terms of what they're capable of. And I don't want to say that it's cheap. Actually, I'll just say it. Darkseid won. And I don't want to say it's cheap that he won because he doesn't exist in the same plane as other characters, but it's a bit of a personal gripe because if you're going to do Death Battle, the characters have to exist in the same space, right? Like, they have to exist in the same area for them to fight. That's kind of how it always works for Death Battle. And so it feels weird having Darkseid have access to this like instant win condition where it's like you can't touch him no matter what, because he exists in a completely different universe or a different dimension in which you can't hurt him. And it's not that you can't hurt him, it's just that Thanos can't hurt him. Like, even with the Infinity Gauntlet, which is supposed to be like one of these, like, he's got the Infinity Gauntlet, he just insta wins, and he's still lost with it. And I don't feel like I'm personally invested in the match. Like, it's a very great fight. It just feels weird how that was handled. And I don't know, maybe it was meant to be that way, but I don't know. Aquaman vs. Namor. This is pretty low tier for me. I don't really care too much. Like, I think at this point, people might have been getting tired of the Marvel vs. DC stuff. You might have been getting tired of it way before me. But I think this is definitely when I started getting that superhero fatigue in general. I know that's a term that gets tossed around pretty heavily. But superhero fatigue works for me. I feel like I just got tired of it at that point. Alright, next we get the Mega Man Battle Royale. I know exactly where this is going. Did I put that somewhere I didn't mean to? Wait. No, it's still back down here. Alright. Peak. Dude, the Mega Man Battle Royale is so good. I really, like... I don't know who thought that was a good idea, but they were right. And the Mega Mania track is just mind-blowing. The animation is cool. The research is cool. I can find myself agreeing with the outcome. I'm definitely a... I'm a huge classic Mega Man fanboy more than I am Star Force X, Battle Network, or Volnut. But regardless of like who wins that, I don't know. I like it. It's good. Peak. Go watch it. Black Widow vs. Widowmaker. Apart from the names and I guess like assassin work, no. I don't know. Captain Marvel versus Captain Marvel or Shazam. It was fun. I feel like there's kind of I'm gonna put it high D, just because I feel like it only came out because of like relevancy bias. Like both of them had movies out at the time. It felt like it was just something that would do good for views and bring in attention to the channel, which I get is the point. I just don't like that. I don't like relevancy matchups for views. Like I'd rather watch something I know I'm going to be interested in. And I don't know. I wasn't super interested in that. Wario Diddy, super interested in that. Now, despite who won, good match. I'd put it very high B, just because it's fun. You definitely go back and rewatch it from time to time. Ben 10 vs. Green Lantern. This one had some talking points. I'm gonna put it mid B. Because the fight was cool, the analysis was cool, the rundowns were cool. It felt real. I feel like they kind of like tripped over their own feet a little bit when doing the animation. Like a lot of people bring up the fact that, spoiler, Ben lost. He lost because there was the scissors with the arm, and they made a point that the Omnitrix will always protect Ben from losing it no matter what. So it would be one of those things where he'd have to find a new way to get around getting it off of his arm, which I don't know if that has happened before. I don't know if somebody has taken it off his arm before, but I feel like I agree with the outcome. I agree that Green Lantern would win. I don't necessarily agree with how he won in the fight, but and this is my time to say it now. The fight itself, like the animation, is not indicative of how the match would go. Like, the fight is just fluff. I think one thing a lot of Death Battle fans misunderstand is the Death Battle fight, the animation, is just for show. You watch the match for fun. Like, you do watch it for accuracy. You obviously watch it for accuracy. So the whole scissor thing, I get it. That's not how that would go. I get that. But I also understand that they had to do it somehow. And maybe they couldn't think of a way to like get it off his arm. or they couldn't find a way to get to like kill him, which doesn't necessarily mean he would win because they can't figure it out. I don't know. I feel like my point is there. You might have to like just look for it for me. Weiss Schnee versus Mitsuru. Another Ruby versus Persona, or not another Ruby versus Persona. It's just another Ruby match. Now I liked Yang versus Tifa. Like I do like it. Despite me putting it in D, I do like it. I'm going to put it right in front of Yang versus Tifa because the death was it was not satisfying at all. Like you watch Death Battle for a character to die in a really interesting or clever or creative way. They didn't give the character who lost that. And I know like Ruby's track record with wins and losses is weird when you account for the fact that some matches are just wrong. Like they definitely got it wrong, and they acknowledge that they got it wrong. Speaking of Yang versus Tifa. But for everything else, I feel like, Weiss versus Masuru is good. It's a good fight. I like it. I just don't think it's a very great... It's not a great quality fight. Johnny Cage versus Captain Falcon. Honestly, you already know my opinions of Mortal Kombat characters, and this might be personal to some of you, but I can't put it any higher than low D. I just don't like Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat. If you're a Mortal Kombat fan, boo! Boo, you stink! Boo! I'm throwing tomatoes at you across the internet. How do those tomatoes feel? Boo! Mortal Kombat sucks! Aang vs. Edward Elric. I do like this match. Not enough for it to go anything in B, though. I think I'd put it like high. High C. Maybe not like that high C. Maybe let's pull it down a little bit. Yeah, below that one, too. Definitely, I think it definitely, in terms of quality, it beats the original Goku vs. Superman. Because it's been so long since then that they've definitely improved the quality of sprite fights and stuff like that. But I guess Ragna vs. Soul is also a sprite fight, too. Yeah. Alright, we'll do that. Ghost Rider vs. Lobo. Peak! Bro, I love that. The metal aesthetic of that fight is just so good. The unkillability of Lobo and Ghost Rider, it's just great. You love to see it. Peak. Easy peak. Now you get Tiger Zord versus Mechagodzilla. I remember really liking this fight too. If I'm not mistaken, they cut a little bit of the fight for like time constraints. So I'm gonna put it low A. It's definitely one I like. Like I'd like to go back and watch, and like I have watched it recently. But yeah, I don't know. Sasuke versus Hiei. D. Not a big fan of that. Dracula versus Ganondorf, or just Ganon, because he does go big form. For like that kind of like Halloween-esque matchup, I definitely want to put it high. Yeah, high C I think is good for that too. Mob versus Tatsumaki. This is a good one too. This I think is gonna go low A. It's a very cool sprite fight. I really like that they pay homage to the way that One draws characters. The way he just kind of... He's not the greatest artist in the world, but the heart that he puts into his creation is immensely respectable. And them paying homage to that in the death battle, like the way that they draw them, I like that. It's good. It's very nice. Deadpool mask. It's much, much better than the last Deadpool match. But they acknowledged this in the episode. Where the hell did I put the last one? Down here? Actually, no, it would be the first Deadpool one, rather. Yeah, whatever. I'll put it right there. I'm not a super big fan of Deadpool. Like, I used to be. The mask, he has his own... Like, the mask is doing his own thing out there. But just the merit of them doing the episode just to kill Deadpool. Like there really was no real match there. That I don't know. That just doesn't really hit for me. All Might vs. Might guy. Very high A. Definitely high A. I definitely put it like above. Ooh, actually, yeah, I should probably reorganize some of these. Yeah. All Might vs. Might guy was fun for because I remember I watched that around Christmas time. Like they that was like the last episode they posted for a like one of the seasons. I don't remember what one. Miles Morales for Static Shock. This was good. This was clean. This is definitely like this low A. Actually, no, very high B. I'd put it like right there. I like the fight. I like the analysis. I don't think I can recall much about the character rundowns individually, but I like the characters, and I think they mesh well together. Sindel versus Black Canary? Is that what that is? Had to make sure. Black Canary versus Sindel. Again, Mortal Kombat, not a super big fan of that, but the music was good, the fight was good. I'd put it kind of back down here. Yeah. It definitely deserves way more than a D tier, because the animation and all that, the analysis is very clean, it's very sound-based, it's just good. Leonardo vs. Red Ranger. Sorry, guys. I didn't like it. I thought it was... I understand the aesthetic behind it. I understand the team leader aspect of it. I just don't think they have much in common. Regardless, I guess they're both like color-coded based characters. You know, Red Ranger, Leonardo with the blue headband. Apart from those very small connections, this just doesn't... I don't know why they did that. So, no. Genos vs. War Machine. That's definitely going up here somewhere. I'd put it like high B. You know, it's a good hand-drawn animated fight. The music was really good. TMI, skip ahead 20 seconds if you don't want to hear this. I remember I watched this episode back when I was having I had a kidney stone when this episode came out. And I went to the clinic to, like, get that checked out. I passed it totally fine, but yeah, I'll always remember that because I remember watching that in the waiting room in the check-in clinic. So that's fun. Shartvark lore. Gray versus Esdeath? I don't really know. I don't remember what her name was. Ice match. I do like the thematics of an ice fight. It goes low B. It's a fun fight. The music is fun. You know, same kind of things I've been saying for a lot of things. Goro vs. Machamp. Okay. Goro vs. Machamp gets mid-A just because it's so weird. It definitely falls in line with the rest of them being, like, very strange. Like, it's just a weird match. It's the four-armed brutes. They're fighters. But it's just a wild Machamp. They're just like, you know, just throw a wild Machamp in there just to see, like, he's not a trainer's Machamp or nothing, just a wild Machamp, and I just think that's funny. Cable vs. Booster Gold, another really goofy match, but despite its goofiness, I will put it mid B just because it didn't really stick with me very much. I do like the fight, I like the time travel stuff, the whole, like, unbreakable shield and, like, all the stuff Cable has going on. It was fun, so it definitely goes pretty high because of that. Kakashi vs. Obi-Wan, I remember talking about this earlier. Now, despite who I thought was going to win, and being pleasantly surprised by that, I'd put that low B, just because it's still a good match. I hope you guys like this so far, by the way. I don't know how long I've been recording for. Let me check that in just a second. I have been recording for exactly 2 hours, and it's been basically 2 hours straight since I started. So we're just going to keep going. I have basically just a little bit less than half to go. Danny Phantom versus Jake the American... Is it the American Dragon? Either way, the episode meant very little to me. D tier. She-Ra vs. Wonder Woman. I really like the quality of the fight. The animation was good. I'll put it mid C, I think is fine. It's a great match. I'm not super familiar with either character, but I do like the quality of the animation. So if I'm gonna go back to watch that at some point, I might as well put it like low. Beerus vs. Galaxia. Easy mid A for sure. Definitely beats those for sure. God, it sucks. I'm pretty sure that episode isn't on their thing anymore, is it? Let's double check. Shira, yeah, you cannot watch that on YouTube anymore. You can watch the fight on YouTube, but they had to take it down. It was like a copyright thing or like IP usage or whatever. On Galaxia's side, not Dragon Ball. Zuko vs. Todoroki. God, this was... I don't like the quality of the fight, so I'm going to put that really low, but the matchup I love. They have, it's the similar scars, they have similar family histories, evil dad, difficult siblings, difficult elder siblings, let's put it. And because of that, I think there really should be an Endeavor and Firelord Ozai death battle. Or, alternatively, and I've spoken this with a friend of mine, Reese Realm, check her out, there really should be an Azula Dobby match. I think that would be insane. I would love that. Dobby versus Azula seems like such a great death battle, and I think you'll probably see that on my list of most wanted death battles. Archie Sonic versus Wally West. Because I'm kind of ranking these here. I'm gonna put this like up here real quick. Peak, obviously, my favorites. My favorite death battles of all time. Love those. A's are really, really, really good episodes. B is just good episodes. C is not good episodes. Or C is just mid-tier episodes. D is bad episodes. Episodes I didn't particularly like, but I'd still go back and watch just because they're fun. And then there's ones that I just think are hot garbage, which goes straight at the bottom. Of which Wally West versus Archie Sonic is not one of them. I'm really not fluent in Archie Sonic. But honestly, I might just leave it at the top of B. It's a very good fight. Like, it's a good fight, good animation, good rundowns, fun analysis. Yeah, I feel pretty comfortable with that. Ooh. The 7 Battle Royale, I'm putting this in Growing Pains just because I don't think they knew what they were doing. That was, it was just a sponsored fight. I could put it in garbage alongside Captain America versus Batman, but I at least they just thought that they kind of had a direction to go, so I think they knew what they wanted. I just don't think it was a great death battle fit. So, another live action. We have The Winter Soldier vs. Red Hood, and I like this one much more than Nightwing vs. Red Hood. Not as much as the rest of these, though. I think I'd probably just put them like side by side. I'll put like Godzilla Gamer in the middle of that. Yeah, that makes sense for me. Venom vs. I almost said Klonoa. It's Kronoa. That's his name. I have never watched Soul Eater before. Can you tell? I do like it though. It's very weird, very uncanny. I'd put it mid B. John Talbane versus what the hell was his name? It's Killer Instinct. Goddamn, I fucking love Killer Instinct. I'm not cutting this. I'm gonna remember this. I'm gonna get this. John Talbane versus... God, what the hell is his name? He's the werewolf guy. Obviously, it's the werewolf fight. It's... Oh, fuck, what's his name? Saberwolf. Yeah, I was never going to get that. Great fight. I love the Halloween match. It's, like, just a good spooky match. It's solid. It goes right up there. Actually, I think it goes A. Like, kind of mid-tier, middle A, yeah. The Red vs. Blue Death Battle. Despite them... doing kind of like what I feel like is another like just Rooster Teeth death battle. I think this one at least gets some points because I watched all of Red vs. Blue. And in the very least, I think there's so much history that you could at least delve into that I think that makes sense. Like kind of mid to like high level B. Batman vs Spider Gwen or Batgirl vs Spider Gwen. Don't remember it. I watched it recently. I could not tell you what happens in it. Sanji vs Rock Lee. Pretty good, actually, pretty good. I know. It made my heart warm. The voice actor for Rock Lee. I know he made a not the official VA, the VA who did it for Death Battle, posted how it was in like an honor for him to voice Rock Lee in Death Battle. That made me happy. So yeah, it gets points for that. Broly and Hulk. I love Broly. Broly's one of my favorite Dragon Ball characters, but I gotta be honest, I don't think they knew what they were doing. I'll put this in growing pains. In fact, I'll put this high growing pains. I love the match, like I truly do. This would go in A, but given everything that they had given to Hulk in the Hulk vs. Godzilla match, which we will get to very soon, I just don't feel like it holds up anymore. Yoda King Mickey, big garbage, big stink. Ben once said he was never going to put Yoda on Death Battle. Should have stayed that way. Shadow Ryuko. Peak. Lex Luthor, Doctor Doom. C. Not great. It was good. It's not one I'd go back and watch. Or it's not one I'm like super invested in. Animation was cool. Geese Howard in Heihachi Mishima, is that his name? Regardless, pretty good. High B. Blake Mikasa. High C. Not great. Man, I'm kind of steamrolling through these now. Iron Fist versus Poe. That's pretty big. That's pretty high tier B. I don't think it quite beats out Ryu Jin for like quality of animation or anything like that. I do like it more than Goomba Koopa and all those, just because it's fun, just a fun, sweet match. Steven Universe Star Butterfly. I'm tripping over myself. My voice hurts. I've been here for 2 hours. Steven Universe vs. Star Butterfly. I'd put it in the low B. I'm only going to put it in the low B because I'm not a fan of either show, but watching the animation and learning about the characters in the rundowns made me interested in the match. Like, it made me interested to see the fight, just not enough to like watch the actual IPs. Link vs. Cloud. Where the hell did I put the last Link vs. Cloud? Did I put it in Growing Pains? I should have put it in Growing Pains. No, I think I put it in D somewhere. Either way, Link vs. Cloud remake. Pretty damn good. I'll put it high B. I like the music, I like the animation. They pull off a lot of their abilities. I'm not a super big fan of the Breath of the Wild fit. I'm not really a Breath of the Wild guy. I would have preferred that they stuck with kind of like the OG Link design, but it is what it is. Batman, Iron Man. Peak. Goku Black vs. Reverse Flash. I understand the connections. I definitely understand the connections. I don't think it holds up super well. Like, I don't know. It seems stupid to say. I much would rather have preferred like an Injustice Superman or something else. I don't think the Goku versus the Flash connections really fit there. So, good fight, definitely a good watch. Not one I do again. Macho Man Randy Savage versus the Kool-Aid Man. Growing pains. I want to put it in garbage, but I don't want to disrespect the legacy that is Macho Man. It's a gag match, right? Like, it's a joke fight. A little distasteful. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'll put it in garbage. Macho Man deserved better. The heart blast thing was a little fucked up. Dio versus Alucard. Is it Alucard? Is that what he goes by, or does he just go by Dracula? I don't remember. I've actually never watched Hellsing. Good fight though. I'd put this like high B. Would I put it above? I'd definitely put it between those two for sure. Not super much. Yeah, Akuma versus goddamn it. The Akuma versus Shao Kahn. I'm not super big into this fight. Like I gotta put it low D. Like it's. I wasn't a fan of the animation. I wasn't a fan of the rundowns or the analysis. I don't like. I remember it well, so it's definitely not. Don't remember. I definitely don't think it was Growing Pains because they clearly knew what they were doing. They did all the right research. I just didn't really like it in contrast to something like M. Bison versus Shao Kahn, which, that went the way it did too. Uh, Korra vs. Storm, that was good. It was good. I wouldn't say it's like great, so I'd put it low B. Good fight. I like the whole like Spirit Realm fight where you see all the past Death Battle combatants. There's like Archie, Sonic, and stuff back there. That's fun. Madara Aizen. Peak. Saitama Popeye. Peak. Harley Quinn vs. Jinx. I like the animation. I like the music. Crazy Bitches matchup is pretty cool. High B. 10 out of 10 would watch again. Zatanna Scarlet Witch. Ooh. I'd put this very, very low A. I do like it. Zatanna's cool. Very cool character. I don't remember this. I don't remember this at all. Yeah, I remember it. It's Demon Slayer. Is it Demon Slayer and JoJo? It is Demon Slayer JoJo. I don't know. I'm not feeling that one. I could put it low D, but I think that's a disservice, so I'm just going to say I don't remember it. Thor vs. Vegeta. Kind of stank, I'm not going to lie. Amazing fight. Actually, you know what? Alright. Because the fight was incredible, extremely high D. Top of D, in fact. Big D, you might say. It's a great fight. It's an amazing. Actually, fine. I'll put it bottom of C. That's the lowest I'm willing to put it. Because the fight is really, really good. The analysis is really good. The rundown's really good. It's been such a long time since we've had Vegeta on Death Battle. He gets to go absolutely insane. He reaches insane levels, but it just felt like, we knew where that was going to go. Homelander, Omni-Man. Mid-A, I think. Yeah, mid-A. We'll put it below, yeah. Kind of like mid-tier, low A. It's a good fight. Nicely animated. I think we all knew where it was going. Tetsuo vs. Magneto. Definitely also high B. It's a very emotional episode. I love the fight. I think that's probably the first Death Battle I felt like kind of emotional getting into and watching, because it's like they really do tell a story there, and I really do like that. I think that's when you knew the writing team was starting to cook. So let's keep going, because I'm almost done. I'm kind of willing to push all the way through. Hercules vs. Sun Wukong, or Heracles vs. Sun Wukong. It's not Growing Pains, because they knew what they were doing. They were trying something new. So it's not... It is Growing Pains. You know what? Yeah, I'll put it very top of Growing Pains, because it's very high quality. Animation work is good. The research is good. The analysis is great. But because they were still trying something very new, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt of not ranking it anywhere, lest I get blowback from that. Alright, Boba Fett versus the Predator. I think Boba Fett's first return to Death Battle after such a long time of basically only getting his ass beat by Samus. Spoiler warning, I'll put it low mid A. I kind of like it more than like most of those. No, Fox vs. Bucky gets a pass. It's a very good fight. I think they really did a lot more service to Boba Fett. The Predator was weird though, and I do want to bring this up. By virtue, you cannot do like the Predator on Death Battle is weird because if a Predator is fighting alone, he's currently one of the weakest Predators of the race because the Predators exile their weakest. So if Boba Fett is fighting a Predator and that Predator is alone on a planet doing his own thing, it's because he's in exile because he sucks. So it's very weird to say like you Death Battle puts characters at their best. So if you're saying Boba Fett beats the best Predator ever, that's cool. But I don't know how that translates into the fight. It's just a kind of a fun fact for you guys. Excalibur versus Raiden, Princess Raiden. Peak. I'm big into Warframe. I'm not super big into Warframe. I don't actively play it as much. My friend Reese Realm does. You can get you see a lot of like codex entries and stuff like that on her channel. So go check those out. James Bond versus John Wick. Ooh, I'll put this low B because it's good. It's a good fight. I'm not a super big fan of the animation. I like both properties. I like John Wick as a character. I like James Bond as a character. Them choosing Daniel Craig was an interesting choice of design. It wasn't. They didn't just do Daniel Craig as James Bond. It was all of them composite, but that's tough. Black Adam versus Apocalypse. Again, good quality fight. Like if I'm doing this entire list just based off the animations, then all of like the result would basically just be the Death Battle order in reverse. Black Adam Apocalypse was a good match. They both have like decent theming on like what they fight for, ideologies and stuff like that. It's a good fight. I'd put a high B. Trunks versus Silver, or Heroes Trunks versus Archie Silver. Peak. SpongeBob Aquaman. I'm just kidding. No, it is good though. It's definitely a good fight. Like the wackiness of SpongeBob. Even if you like know going into it who's gonna win, it's still a fun watch. I definitely recommend it. Jason versus Michael. Garbage. Not terrible garbage, but pretty garbage. I know the animation on this. I'm not going to critique the animation. I'm not going to critique the animation too much because I know it was on like a really, really short deadline. So, but just on its own, I don't know. I think the other Halloween matches were just way better. Yeah. Sauron vs. Lich King. Pretty solid. I'd put it kind of like mid-B. It's a good fight. Fire, ice, the eyeball things. Very cool. Deku Asta. Also pretty good. I'd also put that like high B. Good clean fight. Vegito Gogeta. For a... Where did I put the red versus blue? Well, regardless, I was going to put it like next to it, but giving it some thought. The same series fights, they only work if it's a match I'm interested in. Or here it is. And yeah, and this one kind of wasn't. It was definitely higher quality than that. So yeah, maybe I'll move it up a little bit. Over... Yeah, I'll move it quite up a little bit. There we go. Ant-Man vs. Atom. To be honest, not really my cup of tea. Good, kind of just a middle tier fight. If you want to just watch a Death Battle episode, that's a Death Battle episode. It's got ants in it, swords. Chosen Undead vs. Dragonborn. It's definitely up there. It's definitely not peak, but it's definitely an A tier episode. Good, clean match. People super invested in Skyrim and Dark Souls know who is going to win. the big key talking points about, chosen undead being immortal. He just comes back to a bonfire when he dies. That's fun. I think that's a very interesting match. Good. What's next? Mitsuki Makoto versus Kahlua. Very, very low peak, but peak nonetheless. I do love Railgun. Honestly, that's one thing. I don't talk about it too much. Scientific Railgun and Magical Index are one of my favorite. Like the light novels are amazing. The anime is great. There's moments in it I'm not a super big fan of in regards to humor, but great fight regardless. Stitch vs. Rocket. I remember when this came out, I was all for it. I loved this match when it came out. The longer time goes by, though, I feel like I want to watch it less and less. So I'll put it kind of like right in the middle of A. Like it's a very good, well-animated fight. There's a lot of heart in it. They do a lot of like references to other things kind of in the background. There's a lot of love to it, so it's a good match. Darth Vader vs. Obito Uchiha. I do really like this match. It's definitely going in A. I'm going to put it kind of just above mid-tier A. It's very emotional. I'll put it pretty high up into A. Definitely above Yoshi Ripper for sure. Actually, in fact, I'll put it... Yeah. I'll put it like quite to the top of A. It's very good. It's very clean. They definitely did Darth Vader right when they did that. So, moving on. Phoenix vs. Raven. Ooh, it's not a tough one. It's, it is still Marvel DC, which I'm not like. I really am beginning to get like the superhero fatigue. Like the fatigue of superheroes really does set in. That's why it's right next to the Zatanna match. But there was enough in it that made it feel less than, or it made it feel kind of separate from just Marvel versus DC. So in fact, I think I'm going to move it just one higher than Zatanna. Guts vs. Dimitri. Now, I remember I said Guts vs. Nightmare was hot garbage because of how they did Guts. They did Guts pretty well here. It's not going in A. It's kind of just a... It's a good episode. It's definitely one I'd really like to watch. It's very it's not emotional. It's definitely entertaining for sure. The match was fun. I think the characters have a lot in common. All right, fine. I'll move it up. Say no more. Silver Surfer versus... What the hell is his name? Manhunter versus Silver Surfer. Very, very mystical matchup. Very, very, I say very, very theoretical. But no, it's the thinking man's death battle. Yes. We are fighting to the death. Yeah. Bill Cipher versus Discord. Peak. Cole McGrath versus Alex Mercer. Ooh. Alright. This might be interesting for me to evaluate. Because I actually didn't know either of these series existed. This was one of those things where it's like, man, people really wanted this death battle to come out. And then they finally got it, and people were losing their minds over how good it was. And I was too. Damn, this episode was great. It's definitely, like, very high B. I might, let's put this down here a little bit, yeah. Let's move this one forward. It's a very, very, very good match. It's a very exciting match. My unfamiliarity with both properties is what, like, has all of these beating it. But it's still good nonetheless. Would recommend. Frieza Megatron. This is, like, at least in my friend group, this had some talking points. I personally, I like it. I'd put it behind Genos War Machine. Transformers vs. Dragon Ball is definitely not something you'd think to put together, but for the match regarding, I guess, their like, colors and, I guess, their ideologies, it works. It's fun. They're with galactic conquerors. Gojo Makima. Even if I think Makima's bad as hell, I'm going to put this kind of low A. Kind of like mid to low A. I do feel as though it was a relevancy match. You know, Chainsaw Man and Jujutsu Kaisen are going or they were going absolutely insane in the algorithms at that time. Despite it being a relevancy match, it's a good match. Like, it's still something I would still go back and watch this right now. It's a good fight. So, Scooby-Doo versus Courage the Cowardly Dog. Peak. Rick Sanchez versus The Doctor. I'll put this high A as well. I binged watched all of Rick and Morty just to do research for this match. That's all you need to know about me. I watched all of that. I was not going to watch all of Doctor Who. You hear so much shit about Rick and Morty fans. That's like the whole like Szechuan sauce thing with McDonald's, where just people are just climbing over counters and beating each other's asses and getting into fights and stuff in parking lots for the sauce. Bro, it's so weird. Like, I don't feel that passionate about Rick and Morty. It's a funny show, I guess. It's not garbage. Like, it definitely has a pretty terrible reputation. Go vs. Superman 3. Peak. I will explain my peaks as I adjust them. How about that? Because I know for all of my peaks, I've just been saying peak and then sticking them up there. Galactus vs. Unicron. I love how cinematic this fight was. This fight was genuinely cinematic. Even though I don't personally care for the match very much, it's nice to see Transformers getting a lot of love. You know, like, ever since, like, the Starscream stuff, you didn't really get much past that, so... I mean, I guess there was, Prime vs. Gundam, but... Omni-Man vs. Bardock. Yeah, I'm gonna put this in bottom tier garbage. I'm gonna be honest, my least favorite episode of the recent season. I feel like I can accept Omni-Man winning. It's not about who wins, even though I do like Dragon Ball more than Invincible. I feel like when they did Omni-Man vs. Homelander, let me scroll up to see where I put that. I put that middle A. When they did Omni-Man vs. Homelander, they had this very clear idea in mind where it's like, all right, both of them are it's like the evil Superman battle, where they're kind of in their villain arcs, so to speak. Homelander is always in his villain arc. PSA, Homelander is not the good guy. You might be a lunatic if you think he's the good guy. Regardless, they had an idea there. It was both of them in their evil eras, which, I already said what I said about Homelander. As for Omni-Man Bardock, they kind of make it feel like they're only doing Omni-Man at certain points of his history. Like, they all the stuff Omni-Man would go on to do in the Invincible comics are still relevant in his fight with Homelander. Like, all that research still counts. But the way they portray him in, like, these different eras of, like, when he exists, it just makes him feel like such a weird Death Battle combatant. And I don't like him because of that. Joker Giorno. G-I-G-I-O-R-N-O. Peak. Bowser Eggman. Not only is this peak, this is going to the very top of peak. The only thing that would be right in front of it right now is Ash vs. Yugi, but Ash vs. Yugi is not on the list here. Among Us vs. Fall Guys. I am a absolute goofball, but peak. Kratos Asura. It's like I said about God of War way before, it's not really my cup of tea. I didn't really care too much about Asura's Wrath, but the fight is still good. Would I put it above? Nah, I would definitely put Wario DDD above it, just because I like those characters more, personally. Ghost Rider Spawn. We get more Ghost Rider badassery, so peak. Shigaraki Mahito. Oh boy, you guys are going to not like this. I might be a Death Battle fanboy here. Peak. Master Chief Doomslayer. Very high A. In fact, I'd put this the highest of A currently. It's not peak, but it's definitely high up there. Simone the Digger vs. Kyle Rayner. Another match of characters I didn't really like. Like, I mean, it's not that I don't like them, it's just I'm just not familiar with Gurren Lagann, and I'm just really tired of DC. Despite that very clean match, you love to see that. Wile E. Coyote versus Tom Cat, another very very strong contender for like top match. In fact, I would also put that above here. It's a very fun watch. It's very cartoony, very goofy, but I don't think it qualifies for peak. Especially if you really look at its view count. Like, this is something that people voted for, and yet it doesn't have as high as a view count as like anything else that I'd put in peak. Miles Morales versus Deku, or Spider-Man versus Deku. I want to put this. Oh, this is tough. I'm gonna put this kind of above. Like, it's definitely very high A. The Moro fights are very good. I really do want to put this. Actually, I'll put it up here. Yeah. A lot of the new matches, like the ones that have come out in the last year, they're definitely going to go very high up, but especially because their quality is increasing dramatically. Hulk vs. Godzilla. Bottom tier garbage. I feel like they didn't know what they were doing. I guess to elaborate, it feels like the whole like we need to delay the match because there's like they delayed it by a week because they had an issue with, all right, like some stuff came up in research that we have to do, and I don't know if that was the case or if that was just a rumor that went down. But because of it, the episode as a whole just feels really sloppy. The Ultima model was so cool though. Ruby Rose versus Maka. Very very high A. I quite liked that. Buffy vs. Blade. I'm gonna be honest. I have to do Don't Remember because I didn't watch it. I was I was really feeling myself in this era of Death Battle, where I think I watched glimpses of the fight, but I didn't really care to watch the episode as a whole, just because Buffy vs. Blade, neither of them are characters I've ever been interested in. So I just kind of went, you know what? It is what it is. I don't particularly care to watch this one, so I just didn't. Maybe I'm a fake Death Battle fan. Dante vs. Clive, though. Very high A. Put it right there. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's there it is. That's Shartvark's Death Battle tier list. Here, I'll do. Here's bottom tier garbage. Everybody get a nice good look at that. Here's the ones I don't remember. The ones I didn't really think I had a good opinion to weigh in on. Death Battle Growing Pains. Matches where they had an idea on what they wanted to do. They either weren't in the right space to make the episode yet, or they thought they were cooking and they weren't, or it was just matches that they were just, doing sponsors for and they just kind of had to do it. D. Matches that I don't think are good. These are not great matches for one reason or another, or matches I am just not interested in. C are matches that I think are they're just matches. They're normal fights. If you want to watch them, they'll be somewhat entertaining. But honestly, they are what they are. If they're definitely Death Battle episodes. In B tier, we have episodes that I think are good. These are good episodes. I like watching them. I recommend you go watch them. You don't have to watch them in the order in which I watched them, or the order in which I tiered them. I think they're good episodes. They're fun episodes. They have a lot of good things going for them. Creativity, good writing, good music, or just a lot of stuff that I think is just great. A tier. Episodes that I think are just good. These are great episodes. They're well animated. The research is great. They're either classic matches like the original Mario vs. Sonic. They have a lot of stuff going for them. Even if some of them are relevancy matches like Gojo Makima, they're still really well done. Matches like Vader Obito, where they brought some characters back and they did them justice this time. And then we have Peak. Now, I am going to get into this a lot more specifically because I'm going to rearrange this. Number, obviously, Ash vs. Yugi is number 1, but it's not on the list. The template would have 205. But so just imagine it's Ash vs. Yugi number 1, Bowser Eggman number 2. Moro went absolutely insano style on Bowser Eggman and Shigaraki Mahito. Those matches are so well animated. The music, like Game Over from Brandon Yates, and we had Victor Borba as well on that. Incredible music. Absolutely love that. Shigaraki Mahito, another Brandon Yates track, Skin Deep. Love that. Absolutely mind blowing. Now, what would I put behind that though? Because I really do like Naruto Ichigo. I don't know if it would be. I did this one kind of as a joke, but I'm gonna commit to the bit. I'm gonna keep it right there. It's still peak. It's still peak. Uh, God, this is actually kind of tough. What order would I actually? I kind of really do like I do like these side by side. This would probably go pretty low. Let's put this kind of up here. Maybe I'm feeling myself a little on this one. Let's move this up here. Let's move you kind of down here. Let's move you down here. Let's move you down here. Let's move you up here. Do you know what? I actually think I'm pretty comfortable with this. All right. That's my Shartvark's Death Battle tier list. If you like, if you really like sub, if you think I'm an absolute lunatic who needs to be locked in an asylum for these increasingly disgustingly bad takes, like all these episodes down here, if you think that I'm a delusional psychopath, let me know, man. Let me just just let me know. And okay. Bye bye.